Kings Bay is a pretty special place. It's part of the Crystal River National Wildlife Refuge. It's an outstanding Florida water. It's prime habitat in the winter for the threatened Florida manatee, who gather by the thousands in this area when it's cold enough.
Kings Bay is like the heart of Crystal River and our community. People from all over come here, and it's economically, it's very important to our community. We don't have a lot of industry here, so tourism is huge for us.
When most people think Crystal River, they think manatees, but it's really about the water quality here.
Most people don't know the hardships Kings Bay has faced the last couple decades. From natural shorelines converted to subdivisions and seawalls, to algae blooms, to worsening water quality. But what we have found is how this community has rallied together to make a change. Our team ventured to Crystal River, north of Tampa on the Nature Coast, to see Kings Bay firsthand. Nowhere else will you find a coastal estuary with more than 70 springs pumping fresh waters from the deep underground aquifer. Even our hotel featured a Venetian pool formed around one of those springs. This place is one of a kind. Today, we're telling the story of Kings Bay.
I am proud to represent Save Crystal River, which is a nonprofit organization, and it was started by concerned citizens and community leaders. They started to recognize that Lingbia, a blue-green algae, had taken over Kings Bay, and they wanted to do something about it.
So what is Lingbia, and why is it a problem for the bay? Lingbia is an aggressive mat-forming blue-green algae that smothers and blocks out sunlight that the grasses and plants need to survive. But how did it get to be so bad? Years ago, a combination of routine herbicide spraying and a hurricane that pushed salt water into the bay created a tipping point. Mats of smothering algae took over, forcing wildlife to look elsewhere for food sources and quality habitat. So how did the community respond?
So we have our crew behind us planting. They're actually planting Valsinaria americana. It's actually an eelgrass. And we are planting what are called mechanical planting units. It's a single-rooted rhizome.
And we've nicknamed it Rockstar because it grows like a rock star. Literally, the rhizome spread laterally up 7 feet,
yes,
right?
Yep. First, our crew comes in and they remove the muck off the bottom so there's no soft bottom left anymore. We have nice, solid bottoms so these plants are able to root themselves in. We protect them with cages for about 12 months. It gives them a chance to continue to grow and expand. We'll see those roots and rhizomes even expand beyond the cages, and after 12 months we come in and we remove those cages. And rather than manatees and turtles coming in and pulling the entire plant up, they're pretty much just giving it a haircut.
So we wanted to know just how successful the project has been.
Over the last few years, I've been able to see a tremendous water quality change from how it used to be a darker green bay. Now with this grass over the few years, it's now just a very nice crystal clear bay.
The restoration project has definitely tremendously impacted my tour because I noticed that there will be a lot more manatees this year, or there is, and you just see them munching just nonstop on the ground, like they leave a little trail of the seagrass.
Now the community is seeing that, in fact, wow, it is working. I mean, people are saying that they can see the bottom for the first time in 25 years. So little by little, eyes have opened and we've gotten more and more support.
It's not just the tour guides and scientists that are seeing a difference in the bay. Just like communities all across our state, Crystal River depends on tourism to support the economy. Out on the water, we met tourists from all over.
My name's Sten. I'm from the Netherlands.
Hi, I'm Joe. I'm from upstate New York, up by the Great Lakes.
I'm Alex. I'm from Ohio.
Levon from Alaska.
From North Alabama, down here today to swim with the manatees.
My name is Zoe.
Zoe, that's a beautiful name. Are you seeing some wildlife out here in Kings Bay?
Lots of wildlife. There's crazy birds. There's lots of seaweed. There's lots of wildlife.
We've seen so many different animals return to the area. We have manatees that are here year-round. In the wintertime, when we have a huge population of manatees that have to stay here, they no longer have to wait for a warmer day to head out to the Gulf for a snack. They can eat here without having to leave and fear thermal stress. We also have had an impact in the fisheries as well. We've got bass in here, we've got snook in here. We have also all sorts of large game species that are moving throughout Kings Bay.
We have scalloping charters, fishing charters, paddleboarding, kayaking, swimming, snorkeling. We've got so much here to offer for the nature lover at heart.
With continued great water quality from this restoration project, it's going to be for future generations to come.
We caught up with Jill of the Florida Springs Institute to discuss their Springs Watch program. The program is creating a much-needed water quality baseline for springs health and trends all across the state.
And I love the idea that a lot of times these are citizens from the immediate area surrounding a spring system participating in the data collection and really restoration and health of that spring by collecting this data and us able to share it with the state of Florida and its citizens. So it's a great way to have fun on a spring but give back to that system that you enjoy being on.
But it's not just in the hands of the nonprofits. Everyone is doing their part.
We have every single 5th grader planting their own eelgrass, so it creates ownership.
And at Explorida, we all use power poles just to prevent, unneeded ripping up of the grass from ripping out of the sand. And then we also try to trim our motors up and keep everything, up on the top of the water. So that's just doing our part.
Individuals really can do a lot just in their own little world to help keep the environment going, and the progress that we see we can keep for future generations to come.
As we are packing up, we realize the bay is as much a refuge for humans as it is for wildlife. Kings Bay's story is one of hope.
The water is such a big part of our community. We have a healthy population of manatees that are thriving due to this great water quality that we have through this restoration project. And we've got a thriving economy. This community has really gotten together to enjoy the outdoors and restore and protect this area, Kings Bay Coastal River.
The community efforts and success are a beacon of inspiration for our children and other Florida communities. Our team will continue to connect adventure providers, environmental nonprofits, and locals to bring attention to Florida's greatest resource, the water. Stick with us, share our video, follow our lead, and stay tuned for another amazing water to be featured to prove once again that Florida is the water state.